Hi guys, in this video we're going to be looking at the wedge as an example of a simple machine. We're going to talk about what a simple machine is and does, look at the definition of a wedge, how it works, and then some examples of where wedges can be used. So a simple machine is any tool that provides a mechanical advantage to help us do work being moving something that has mass from point to point. We've got 6 types of simple machines, including the inclined plane, the wedge, which we'll talk about today, the wheel and axle, pulley, screw, and lever. So firstly, what's a wedge? A wedge consists of 2 inclined planes. So we've already talked about inclined planes. So we've got 2 inclined planes, that is straight edges that are on an angle, that meet together to form a sharp edge. Now, how it works is the effort is placed on the back, which puts the load on the front, and this load is the sum of all the effort across here. So that actually focuses all this effort into a particular point, and then once it actually enters something because of the force pushing into that point, this inclined plane then causes a force to be perpendicular to that movement, which can split things apart or lift things up, which we'll talk about in a sec, but that's what that actually does. Now, this angle at the front, there's going to be more force the thinner that angle is. So we've got more force in this one than in this one. However, the speed at which something's going to be splitting, so if you think of these, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but if you think of these both as being an axe head, this axe is going to have less force, but it's going to split wider than this axe head. So that amount of force is inversely proportional, which is a fancy word for saying as this angle gets bigger, the force gets less. So some examples of where wedges can be used. So it can separate 2 objects or parts of an object. So here we've got our axe head, which is a wedge, 2 inclined planes. Now as that axe head drives into this piece of wood, it actually pushes the piece of wood, so this direction, and splits that piece of wood in half, which is how you go about chopping wood. Another thing it can do is be used to lift something. So for example, when this wedge gets driven in this way, that inclined plane actually pushes this object up, so it makes it easier to lift an object, so like a lifting wedge, or if you want to go the other way, to keep an object in place. So you can actually put a wedge on both sides of something like a wheel, and that stops it from moving because it increases the amount of force needed to actually drive up that inclined plane. So wheel chocks are an example around a wheel, are an example of where you can use wedges. In this video, we've looked at simple machines being things that provide a mechanical advantage to allow us to do work. We've looked at the definition of a wedge, which is 2 inclined planes meeting to form a sharp edge. How it works by increasing that force that's applied to the tip, or giving some mechanical advantage there, and by splitting those 2 parts of the tip once that tip drives into a substance, splitting those 2 halves of the substance apart. And we've talked about what it does. So it can be used for splitting 2 things apart, for lifting an object, or for stopping an object from moving. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.